Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And you know what? Let's start right off with this episode begging a little bit, or let's call it let's call it soliciting, because we haven't done this in a while.
Wow. I think begging was probably a little better, but all right, go ahead.
Okay, wait. I'm not talking about. Well, I guess we are whoring ourselves out a little bit. So let me take that back.
Speak for yourself.
I don't mean in that way. And first of all, we're not going to ask for money because, Mike, we don't want anyone's money, do we?
Fuck no.
Fuck no. Keep your goddamn money. But I tell you what, we do want. We want all of our loyal listeners. If you like what we're doing out there, tell somebody about it, right? Because.
Right.
I haven't asked about that in a while, and we got, I don't know, I was looking at something. Dr. Sarah, and I'll talk about that in a second, but popped on Spotify, and, you know, we've been asking people to, like, leave reviews and stuff like that, which I never realized that on Spotify you can leave a star rating, which, cool.
Right.
Rating, that puts us up in the ranks. That's all good. But I know Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review, and that's where 60% of our probably 60 or 65% of our listener base is anyhow. But the whole point is that if anyone has the opportunity, it's free ways to do it. We're not looking for money. We've made that very, very clear. We don't want your goddamn money. But what we do want is 5-star review, a 5-star rating. Because what this does, that keeps us up or puts us up in the ranks. And then if somebody is looking for a sober podcast, if you like it, maybe somebody else does, and they can find us. A review also, those go up on our website. People look at our website, they can see hopefully the wonderful things we're doing, or if nothing else, the lies that you guys are telling about us. It's fine. Nobody cares anyhow. But yeah, tell a friend. I mean, anyone that's been listening for a bit, if you enjoy it, I think, Mike, you said it best. Well, get off your ass and do something nice for somebody else or something.
Right, exactly. Well, I think I've heard somewhere, you know, give it away to keep it, that sort of thing. So yes, don't keep all this shit to yourself. Share it with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. So, but seriously, I mean, I know I said beg, solicit, whatever it is, but that's how we grow. We've noticed, but it's summertime. It happens every year. Because this is our third summer doing this, but so every summer it drops a little bit. I get it. People are out doing their thing, and it's fine. But yeah, just get out, tell somebody, and like Mike just said, you know, give it away. But speaking real quickly of Dr. Sarah, so we had Dr. Sarah on for episode 72. She's coming back on. It'll be the August 24th release.
All right.
So we talked to her, and she's all squared away, and she's coming back. She's going to talk about her book some more, because we get into the book a little bit, but we talked about everything.
Right.
So I think a chance for her to talk about that. Plus, she's still got the YouTube thing. The podcast part, they've now converted it with the help of the Sober Curator, because Dr. Sarah is, along with us, she's a Sober Curator. They converted that now into a podcast. So her YouTube stuff, they're, you know, the 10, 15-minute little snippets that they have. That's all their episodes were anyhow.
Right.
But, you know, Leaving Crazy Town, which is their YouTube thing, is now a podcast. So if you guys want to listen to that, you know, check them out. They're on Spotify and Apple and all the other ones, as far as I know.
See how that works? See how easy that was? Bill just shared a podcast. Hey, you can too.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? And I was thinking about that too, because obviously Dr. Sarah, anything we do with the Sober Curator, because we work with them. Sober Friends podcast I talk about all the time. Sobriety Uncensored's the other one I talk about, and Sober Motivation podcast. Those three I listen to on a fairly regular basis. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know or even care if they ever cross promote us, but I enjoy them and I listen to them. So you know what? You guys should check them out too. How's that?
Nice.
Yeah. So that's it. Just I don't know. That's a little bit of light whoring, I guess, if you want to put it that way, right?
All right.
Yeah. So you want to join in that now? Now you're part of the whorage, or no?
I mean, that's old behavior, man.
Okay, but this is whoring for a good reason, right?
Well, I thought it was a good reason back then too.
You know what? That's a good point. I guess it's all relative. Okay, so enough of that. So yeah, listen, talk about us, whatever you want to
Right.
do. So
Yes.
all
Like,
right.
share, and review, all that good stuff, please.
Yeah, exactly. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So that's all my little rambling stuff. I got some shit going. Obviously, plenty of things to talk about. And just a quick wrap up of last weekend and also what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be a Wisconsin resident for the next month starting tomorrow. So
Wow.
I'll talk about that. So temporary, still Airbnb shit, but I'll talk about that briefly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know what? I think we do. What do we do normally at this time?
I don't know, some reading thing or
Oh, yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. Good thoughts. Rolling around, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Right. Enough of this whoring. All right.
Those were good thoughts rolling around someplace.
Yeah, they're
Hello.
rolling around. All right. All right. God grant me. This is actually, I like this one a lot. And it just kind of popped up. I didn't have anything. Flip it around, whatever. Kind of went to the back and looked for a topic. That didn't really, anyway. So here we are, December 2nd. Christmas time. Now, here we go. I always keep a supply of stimulant handy in case I see a snake, which I also keep handy. W.C. Fields, one of my favorites. W.C. Fields, the famous comic who played the role of a drunk, joked that he kept his excuse for drinking handy at all times. Many of us have our own snake, our own favorite excuse for drinking or using that we carried around with us for years. We pulled it out as often as we wanted to, acted as if the fear or pain were brand new and way too much to bear, and then we drank or drugged with quote unquote good reason. Our program helps us empty the snakes, the reasons for drinking and drugging, out of our pockets, briefcases, purses, and lunch boxes. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me identify all the excuses and reason I use to drink or use drugs. Help me face them and let them go. Today's action. Today I will think about my quote unquote snakes, the old hurts and fears that I use to get drunk or high over. I will list them and talk with my sponsor about how to empty them out of my pockets.
Think about my snake. Okay, hang
I
on.
knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of, especially after us talking about horrors and stuff like that. There was a lot of snake and stuff going on there. But
That's right.
so hopefully we have a couple of younger listeners around now. But yeah, W.C. Fields, look him up. He was an interesting and funny fellow. That's for damn sure. But yeah, he was he was an admitted alcoholic, right? I mean, if I
I don't know that he ever
admitted
admitted it. Right. I mean, he was certainly a drunk. Yes, he played one that was part of his character, but it was also part of his life.
right.
Yeah, he drank a lot. Uh, I'm pretty sure. I saw a movie about him a long time ago. And I believe he died somewhat sober only because he was in a hospitals, institutions, and death. Yeah, so he didn't have access to it. And it was pretty nasty. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, W.C. Fields. So the topic: snakes in our pants.
Yeah, yeah, back to snakes in our pants. But no, I mean the reading itself, and that's one that I, as soon as you started reading it, I remembered it, and and I that's one that kind of sticks because once again, I mean, it's one of those things and one of those readings that is a visual, and I mean that in a serious note, not about
Hmm.
my
Right.
stink in my pants, but
Right.
I mean seriously, it's talking about pulling these things out and hiding our fears and
Hmm.
hurts and all those sort of things. But the couple of things that I wrote down was obviously kept excuse for drinking. That one I want to come back to, but
Hmm.
fear or pain too much to bear. I think that we can all identify with.
Well, I
But that
mean, yeah, I mean, but in the reading, it talks about the fakes, the fakes, the the fears and the pain that we pulled out, that we used, that we hung on to, that we used for an excuse. We didn't want to let those pains and fears go because it made it quite handy for us to get loaded.
Right. So that's what I was gonna say, because the second part was identify excuses for that, which kind of wrapped into that.
Hmm.
So do you think and I know that we've talked about that, and I don't know that I've ever really thought about me bringing out fears and pains as and then identifying or actually using those as excuses to drink.
Mm.
But do you remember like specific times or maybe when you got to that point when that was the case, looking back now, that what you were doing was fear based and in the pain you were bringing it out, and that's why you drank. Can you remember
Hmm.
things like that, or
I mean, again, kind of the gist of the reading is, using these things as an excuse,
right?
quote unquote, good reason for me to get loaded. Um, I look back on them now, and of course they're ridiculous because that's all they were excuses. I mean, I physical pain. I still have it. I've got things I don't. I'm not going to be the old man sitting here talking about my aches and pains, but man, with aches and pains. I've had them pretty much my whole life, and I absolutely use those as an excuse. Oh, my back's fucking hurting. I gotta get a drink, man. This pain is awful. I fucking hurt way worse than I did 20 years ago, and I don't medicate myself. So, apparently, I could bear it. They were just excuses, like they all are. They're all fucking just excuses to be selfish and self-centered and not and yes, of course, people have real traumas and stuff which we've talked about and we understand and we have talked about ad nauseum that we really don't. um I mean, shit's happened in our lives, of course. Bad things, traumatic things have happened in our lives, but nothing, comparatively to some other people. And again, it's all just excuses. Thankfully, the program has taught us that, the fears and the pains and whatever those excuses, first of all, we build them up to be bigger than they really are. Um, and, and again, that's kind of the coping mechanism. And, oh, this is far bigger than I can handle. And so I got to get loaded. Uh, but yeah, they're excuses, man. No matter what your pain, your trauma, whatever, there are people around you. If you allow people to be around you to help you with those things, and they're never as big as you think they are, and you can get through them. That's kind of the whole point. You don't need to medicate yourself. There's a better way to do it, and it's to face it, walk through it, get to the other side, and guess what? Then it's behind you. That's it. That is just it. It's behind you, and then it's up to you to turn around and look at it again or move away from it.
Right. It's funny though when you talk about the like pulling out the excuses, and as you were saying that, I'm starting to I'm remembering like specific circumstances when.
Mm.
Well, here's the thing. So I was never one of those people that said, "Whew, had a bad day. I need a drink," until I was,
Right.
and until I started when shit went, and I can think of circumstances. Now I'm not going to bring them up because it involves
Mm.
other people, and
Yeah.
it's unimportant,
Yeah,
But
right. Exactly.
so these situations started coming up, and then that's when I started to drink on purpose, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
or drink for a purpose, I guess,
Hmm.
because I was drinking to begin with, try to piss off, other people.
Hmm.
Um, but then on top of it, figuring, well, fuck it, man. I feel better this way anyhow, so why the fuck not?
Right.
And then getting this whole on caring mode, and then that led up to my DUI, and imagine that, right? But then other things too is that when shit would go bad, I would drink. But then again, when shit went good, I would drink. But
Mm-hmm.
it was so much easier when things were bad, because then get to get, whether it's a funeral, it's a bad situation, whatever the thing is,
Uh-huh.
especially if you're around a group of people. I mean, everyone gets to wallow together
Right.
over over glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, there, and that's the thing too, that's so the kept excuses for drinking and that sort of thing, and identifying the excuses and even hiding them. I think we've talked about this before, that under certain circumstances, holidays, bad moments, fun moments, summer times, things like that, we were able to blend a little bit more, and maybe, kind of pull out those excuses, and nobody thought anything of it because everyone else
Mm-hmm.
was too.
Sure.
But, I've said this before, and when I talk about my, Dawn, my ex-wife, she and I, we went out a lot when we first got together. We had so much fun. And, I've never ever said, that I don't think that she drank excessively. It's never, people drink too much on certain time frames,
Sure.
but never problematic, never a thing like that. I would never point that finger. But we did these things. We went out, and it was this party atmosphere. And then she understood when the party ended, and I never did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like that years ago when my daughter's mom and I were together. And under any circumstance, it was just that, the same thing, that I could blend as long as it was the right moment. And
Right.
then, other than that, like you and I both have, kind of admittedly said that, right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, we were all, whether we meant to isolate or it was just where we were in our lives,
Hmm.
we had that at that time, that freedom, where people didn't see our shit all the time.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, other people just got in the way, man. you know, and they were gonna look at me sideways and whatever. And fuck you. No, I'm gonna go off and by myself and do what I want to do and get out of my goddamn mind.
Right. Well, and if anyone hasn't listened to it yet, the episode when we had Kathy on, our sister,
Mm-hmm.
she told a story about me at Christmas time one year, and it was ugly, and it was
Mm-hmm.
probably a 10 or 15 minute story. It wasn't long. She wasn't being mean or
Mm-hmm.
cruel. It was one of those things where she even asked, she's like, "Can I tell that story?" I'm like, "Fuck, you're on here. Let's go,
Right.
man."
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably one of the most, since I've been sober, with the exception of the beginning when you're trying to make amends and get people back, and
Right.
kind of get your shit together, probably one of the most uncomfortable 15 minutes of my 14 years,
Uh-huh.
listening to that. But I needed to hear it.
Sure.
And I needed to hear it, and I needed to feel sick to my stomach when I heard it,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to, not even, it wasn't even being ashamed of it. I was just like, God damn, that's who I was, number one, and so grateful that I don't have to be that person today. But the that uneasiness, I think, is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful
Mm-hmm.
emotion to have. I want to feel sick to my stomach when I hear shit like that, because if I get angry, or if I don't feel that way, there's something fucking wrong with me.
Right. Absolutely.
In a not in my sobriety's in the wrong way. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it's not in the right direction. So,
Exactly.
um, but yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, that yeah, well, Hurts and Fears listing them. I mean, I don't think that everything. That was like the end of the reading was, yeah. I'll make a list of my hurt, or think about all my hurts and fears and list them. I'm like, fuck. First of all,
Mhm.
I don't want to do that, and
Right.
second of all, it's just like all of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, clearly, any excuse I could use to make myself appear not to be a complete selfish asshole. No, there's an actual reason for me to be this drunken asshole. Uh, no, no, I'm just a drunken asshole. I'm just trying to sugarcoat it, but there is no sugarcoating to this. Yes, I've got problems and whatever. Maybe I ought to try to work on them and not fucking get drunk and make everybody else feel like shit.
Well, the other thing I thought about too when you were talking about aches and pains, and yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, as opposed to, whether it's 14 years ago or 20 years ago, certainly,
Hmm.
more than 30 years ago. I mean, I hurt all the time. Like I said, when I was talking about my back pain, I'm like, is this just who I am now? Because I'm not going to
Yeah.
stop. I'm not going to stop walking. I'm not going to stop
Hmm.
walking around on trails. I try to take care of myself, and I don't overexert myself. But
Hmm.
in my knees, after I do some of these, if it's 3, 4 that one day when I was in Iowa, I walked 7 fucking miles.
Right.
I was I was a wreck. I'm just like, holy fuck. And I'm just sitting there watching TV, go, ugh, ugh. You know what? You know how I felt like? Joe Biden. Sorry about that. That's my well, can I just say one thing real quick? All I want to
Sure.
do, this has nothing to do with his politics at all.
Right.
This has to do with the fact, well, sort of. He's the leader of the free world, which
Mhm.
he said he's a leader of the world. So I don't know if he's Austin Powers or no, Dr. Evil now or whatever he is, but um, I want to take him and grab him by the hand and just get him a sweater and a
Uh-huh.
bowl of soup.
Yep.
I want to take away his car keys and make sure he's taken care of. That's what I want to do. And then if Jill comes up and says no, he's fine, I want to have her committed because she's fucking
Right.
nuts. I'm to the point now where the human side of me is coming out, and this has
Mm.
nothing to do with whether I agree with his politics or don't.
Right.
It's irrelevant. I'm like, holy fuck, man, this he's in fucking trouble, you know?
Yeah. Right. I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Go sit down and go enjoy something, man, because this ain't good. Right.
I know. Okay, so enough of that. I don't remember how I got onto that. But so
Mhm.
the aches and pains and stuff like that, when right after I got sobered, I know I've talked about this, but I mean, I think it was coming down, whatever the medications and shit. I mean, my body getting back in shape, getting rid of all the alcohol and whatever too.
Right.
But I was sore like fucking top to bottom for, at least a couple of months,
Mhm.
and then I was taking ibuprofen all the time, and I still do because if I get pains, I take ibuprofen. But I mean, I'm just like, man, I'm sure at 41, I had some back pains and knees and whatever. I just didn't feel it for probably 10 years,
Yeah.
or more than that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm sure I had those pains somewhat in my 30s, but it's just like, all of a sudden somebody ripped the fucking band-aid off and it's just an open wound, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm sore.
Mhm.
But yeah, the thing of it is, I mean, we've both gone through some shit, in sobriety. I don't know. I don't want to compare it, better, worse, and different, but whatever it is,
Uh,
you and I, along with anyone else that's been sober, we all go through some shit. All go through life just like any other normal person. But I mean, we've learned and figured out, that we don't have to medicate ourselves anymore. That we actually have, like you said, people around us, tools to use,
mhm.
all those different things
Yeah.
if we choose. We don't have to wallow and live in our shit. We don't have to live that way anymore today.
Exactly. Yep.
But yeah, so that was I like that. That was a good reading. Starts off with snakes and inappropriate conversations, but
Mhm.
I think we
As
handled that
most
one
things
pretty
do.
well.
Yeah, best we can.
Right. It's funny though on that. I was just thinking about that, and it's probably happened on at least the three podcasts that I've listened to, and a couple others I know that. But those three specifically, I listen to them sometimes, and every time they have a topic, and one has a story, and one has this. Every single one of those podcasts, start to get off on a tangent, like, we don't want to get off on a tangent, but just real quick, and then like, let's get back on track. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's all this podcast is. It's just
Mhm.
sober, not my tangent.
Right.
Sober on a tangent.
Exactly.
Like we wouldn't have anything to fucking talk about if one of us didn't be like, oh wait, I see a boat, and then start talking about shiny objects. But
Squirrel.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So speaking of, we haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks. You want to give your radio gig another plug? I mean, I've got it on here just to maybe keep it in front of people's minds. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, real quick, yeah, I will be once again on WJCU, the Metal on Metal radio show, August 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, playing really awful music and enjoy it. It'll make your ears bleed and make your stomach sick, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling. It takes away your pain.
Wonderful feeling, and for a good cause and something you do. What is this going to be, year 7 or 8?
Nah, I believe 6th.
Is it okay? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
trying to
well,
give you more of
there's a
it.
couple years pandemic was in the way and we couldn't do it. So, yep.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yep.
I got you. But no, I don't know. It's I have it on the list and I forgot about it last week. But I don't know. Every couple of weeks we can just tease it a little bit, and as we get a little bit closer, we'll start posting about it, and obviously set up links and everything on our website. I think I
Right.
still have GCU on our sponsor page, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked
Cool.
at it in a while,
Yeah.
but
WJCU.org. It's a community-based college radio station, and they take donations all year long. Radiothons in February. All right, enough of that.
Yeah, but I was going to say that yeah, it's hang on one second. While we're talking here, I'm just going to pop on. I think I have. I keep these links on here. I'm pretty sure I have it. The fuck? Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. It's the last one on our sponsor page. I usually move it up when obviously as
Mhm.
it gets closer. But go to SoberNotMature.com. Go to our sponsor page, and you can click on there and donate any time of the year, as Mike said. So yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
absolutely. Yep. And I'm missing the show because we're taping this fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. But so what else? Anything else on the reading, or pretty good?
No, I think we're pretty good, man. Don't use your snakes anymore for evil. Use them for good.
I just kind of sometimes I wonder. It's like I wonder if there's going to be anything with snakes in our episode title. That'll be
Mm.
interesting to see.
Mm.
But but okay. So I still want to try to do some cleanup things. I got a couple of things that I wrote down this week. I'm still listening to the Dennis Dunaway book. Nothing else again is popped out to me. I'm sure I'll finish that up. Maybe even this weekend. Oh, so the cheesehead thing or the cheeseland thing. So I
Mhm.
already had the trip to go northern Wisconsin. In again, never heard of this town before, but it's called Niagara, Wisconsin. I've had that booked for a couple of months, but that's I'm going to be there for 3 weeks from or I'm sorry, July 20th through August 10th, and then looking around, whatever. I found another place in a town I've never heard of called Gresham, Gresham. So it's about an hour north of Appleton, hour between there and Niagara for whatever. So I booked that for this week. So I'm heading out there tomorrow. And then
Cool.
next weekend, before I go up to Niagara, I'm just going to shoot back to Appleton. Then I can see Ollie's soccer
Mhm.
stuff. So
Cool.
like, what the hell? But yeah, so as of tomorrow, I'll be in Wisconsin for a month, which is kind of what my plan was for the month of June, but I couldn't afford to do it, so
Mhm.
I cooled my financial heels for you know here and there a little bit. I still did some things, but was able to kind of cool things off. But yeah, it'll be nice. So and yeah, both these places, I made sure the internet and shit was in place, and obviously I need it for work, but I fucking need it for this thing too. So
Right.
um, but yeah, the last thing, so the Arkansas thing, I went, I kicked around a couple of the trails, whatever, same old shit. It was beautiful, it was wonderful, but these places to get back. Did I tell you that they were like dirt and gravel roads? Did I tell you about that the last time? I couldn't remember
Mm,
if I went on
no,
one.
I don't think so.
Okay, so just apparently there are a lot of these ones around there. It's not just gravel roads; they're dirt,
Mhm.
potholes, ruts. I mean, like your
Mhm.
top speed is like 10. Okay,
Yeah. Right.
and I'm driving back there with my fucking car. And the one I went to was going down into this campground area, and the campground's down by the river. And so you're up and going down. I mean, the sign says, hey, it's best if you have a four-wheel drive or a car with decent clearance. I'm like, ah, fuck it. I made it
Uh-huh.
down the last one. I'm like, it'll be fine. And as I'm going down there, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is steep. And then coming back out, so all-wheel drive I have, and it's the first
Mhm.
time that, with the exception of if I've been in the snow and like just hammered on the gas, I'll see the display. I can see the rear wheels,
Yeah.
obviously kick in,
Mhm.
especially if you're on a hill in the snow. But coming up, so going uphill, trying to get traction and not I can't go too fast,
Right.
and then hitting these ruts and shit like that. I'm like, motherfucker, man. And I'm like, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of my car. But I mean, first of all, it was fun, it was worth it. But I'm like, Jesus, and I'm seeing people drive in and out of here in cars a lot smaller than mine. I'm
Mhm.
like, there's got to be people that fuck up their cars
Oh, I'm
going
sure.
down in there.
Right.
But I'm like, in there, it's like 2 and 3 miles of this stuff, and you're just
Right.
going like 10, and I'm like, oh God. But anyhow, it was fun. I had a great time. It was beautiful down there. I'd like to get down there again. I was looking at going down there again towards like the end of August, but the area that I want to go to, this national forest that I want to see, I can't find a place that's affordable. I mean, all the
Mhm.
places around there I'm looking are too expensive. So,
Right. Yeah,
later on,
well, it's
later.
it's peak season, man. Right.
I know. But yeah, there's a couple other places I'm looking at. But for now, yeah, Wisconsin for a month. So I'm actually looking forward to that. But also, I mean, the kids are coming up while I'm up in the northern part and coming up for the one weekend. And like I said, I get down to Appleton next weekend and see Ollie play soccer, which is the point. That's the point with all this shit anyhow, is being
Mhm.
able to, spend time with those around. Yeah, it's nice to be, kick around, and I get time by myself in some cases. Not that I'm looking for that specifically, but that and seeing all these different places. But the whole point is, being around family and people, right?
Mhm.
That's what I tell myself anyhow.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, what about okay, the word community. All right. So we talk about
Uh-huh.
obviously, the recovery community, and we talk about fellowship and that sort of thing. But
Mhm.
it's the word itself, community, is I don't want to say it's a bad buzzword, but it's definitely a common buzzword on
Mhm.
podcasts and Instagram and that sort of thing. So we always use, again, we use more of the term like the fellowship, and I know we use community, but I think it's more of a, to me, I've heard it more on social media and Instagram. But
Right.
in your opinion, I mean, what do you think is the most important, number one, most important part of it, why it's important, especially for people who are new when you first get sober, whether you call it community or fellowship or just being around people? Speaking to that.
Right. Well, yeah, we can't do this alone. We clearly tried. I mean, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it kind of plays into the power greater than yourself thing. I mean, you've got to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and the easiest way to do that is to become involved with a community, a fellowship, a whatever the word is you want to plug in there. I mean, fellowship kind of sounds a little religious. That's why I think probably more people use community these days. Yeah, group of fucking people, man, group of drunks, God, right? Yes, it's that is a component to this thing. We cannot do it by ourselves. I could not get sober by myself. There's no way in hell. My mind's too fucked up. I will talk about snakes, man. I will find excuses. Right. I can rationalize and justify anything left to my own devices and did for long, long time. So I need other people. I need other eyes on me. I need to have eyes on other people. I need to see what to do and what not to do. And yes, because my way doesn't work. And the only way to see another way is to actually see another way. And you're not going to see that in a fucking mirror. You just can't. So yes, and early recovery, absolutely. You need to be around other people. You need to be accountable. That's a huge part of it. Because again, crawling off by yourself with your snakes, you will you'll get loaded. You just will. You don't have a choice. So yes, it is very important. I mean, we've talked about it out here ad nauseum, man. You don't go to very many meetings anymore. I go to one a week. And that's it's funny. My home group, right? The one meeting I go to a week. Last week, a bunch of home group members weren't there for various reasons, and so there was like two of us, and and then the recovery guys, the recovery house guys, and blah 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 blah, and the person that was supposed to be chairing didn't show up, and therefore the lead didn't show up, and we're like, me and the other guy are looking at each other going, okay, what are we gonna fucking do? Well, let's see, we could have a discussion meeting. I mean, we're gonna have a fucking meeting, right? We're here. It's in the schedule. We have to have a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. What are we going to do? So we're like, well, maybe we'll have a discussion. Maybe we'll, whatever. And this woman that used to be very regular, like shit, 10 years ago, 8, 9, maybe even 7 years ago, she was still pretty regular. She was there for a long time. And she just walked in, and it was like, what the fuck, man? I mean, I'd seen her, she'd been there, I don't know, a few months before, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But she walked in, and I went, well, okay. So I walked over to her and I said, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, whatever. What are you doing for the next half hour or so? And she smiled and she said, why? I said, cause our chair didn't show up, our lead didn't show up. And she goes, yeah, I'll do it. So she got up and she led, and it was great. She's got 27 years
Oh,
sober.
wow.
Yeah, right. But it was funny what made me think of all of this. And she got up there and she was doing her lead, and she was saying, I don't go to as many meetings as I used to. And I was like, yeah, no shit, man. 27 years, we don't, but she talked about first year, I went to a meeting every day. Then the following 5 years, I probably did 5 or 6 meetings a week, and then, yes, it backs off, man. I mean, we said it a million times on here. I didn't get sober to spend my life in a church basement. I did not. I need to be a part of, and I need to be of service, and that's why I go to my home group every week. But shit, I don't need that fellowship the way I did my first year, my first 5 years. I don't, thankfully. Inside job, man. I do the work. I do the work every day that I need to do. And so I don't need to go sit in a church basement. I'm fine sitting in my living room. Um, and the wonderful thing is, especially being here in Cleveland, if for some weird reason I was not doing what I was supposed to do and needed to get to that church basement, there's a lot of them here. Every night of the week, there's plenty of them I can go to. I just thankfully don't have to today.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? And I was just thinking about. Well, I was thinking about a couple of things when, well, as soon as you said, when she walked in the room, I'm like, I knew what happened,
Hmm.
because that's just that is what happens. But again, that goes back to, kind of even goes back to what we were talking about last week. For her, for instance, I'm sure I'm not. I'm going to guess she probably hasn't led in a while 'cause she doesn't go to a lot
Right.
of meetings, and
Right.
and I'm sure it was good for her to be asked, but she had to put herself in that position, and you were available, and blah blah blah. All this,
Hmm.
like we
Yeah.
were talking about making ourselves available. You went to the meeting to be involved and
Hmm.
all that stuff.
Yep.
But the same thing with yeah, I mean everything you just said about the number of meetings and the fellowship and all those sort of things. It is kind of funny because even though both you and I have openly admitted that this thing right now, right
Mhm.
here that we're doing, filled a huge void for me, and I think
Right.
you too, but
Sure.
I just openly and admittedly, I knew I needed something. I needed a podcast, and then this is a structure that I didn't have in my life,
Hmm.
for the last, I don't know, couple years before year before we started doing it.
Right.
Um, and it is same deal. I had a It felt like a really long week. It wasn't bad. It was a little slow, as everything I always talk about. It's ups and downs in the collection side of things. This was a slow week. I had a couple of weird nights sleep. I don't know why. I was fucking tired all week.
Hmm.
Um, and sitting here like 20 minutes before we got on, and I'm like, I am so fucking tired. And I'm getting up early tomorrow too, I mean, I'm not gonna,
Right.
like, sleep in because 'cause I'm driving up to Wisconsin, but, all these different things, once we get on here and once we were talking for 5 minutes, I mean, all of that shit that I was thinking about, literally an hour ago is gone,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? And it's just that it's so nice, but the thing of it is too is that, and my plan when I started traveling, and I did it when I was in South Carolina, I did it at a couple other places. I went to meetings when I was there.
Right.
And the only reason I haven't in the last handful of trips that I've done or more than that is because I'm doing other shit,
Right.
And by the time it gets to the point where, I get back and I'm usually fucking drenched in sweat and whatever. So I take a shower and I eat and I just sit on my ass and I'm fucking tired,
Hmm.
but the thing of it is sometimes I know for a fact, and whether, like you just said, if we're not doing something right and that sort of thing, we know we can find a meeting. If worst case scenario,
Hmm.
every one of us has one of these fucking electronical devices,
Yep.
that, and there's millions, well, thousands, if nothing else,
Uh-huh.
online meetings almost at any time. I can find a meeting if I need one right now.
Right.
Um, but I might just get to the point where I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go to a meeting because I have the time and I feel like it, and I
Hmm.
just want to go check out what this AA looks like in whatever fucking town I'm in,
Right.
and maybe just to get around people. I don't necessarily crave the I'm not. I was just going to say I don't crave the attention of people.
Uh,
I'm fine, not being around people all the time. I've worked remote
mhm.
now for a couple of years. I mean, yeah, I'm around Kathy. I'm around other people here and there, but
Right.
when I'm traveling and stuff like that, it doesn't. I don't feel lonely, which
No.
is it's great being. I was talking to somebody about that, and the person had said that it's a testament to, us, and I don't mean this, patting myself on the back, but when we get
Hmm.
to this point where we're comfortable in our own space and with ourselves, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a
Right.
that's a hell of a nice place to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I can sit here with myself and not feel uncomfortable because I'm okay.
Right. Yeah, and just I just think about so many for so many fucking years. I couldn't sit still, or if I
Mhm.
was by myself, and that's when I drank. I mean, I had to.
Right.
I couldn't. The silence was deafening. You know,
Right.
is the only way to put it. And now I sit back, I'll put the TV on or do whatever. One of my favorite times of night. is after I take my contacts out, I brush my teeth, and sometimes I'll mess around on my phone. I'll get on Facebook or pop on Instagram. Sometimes I'll kick around and read some articles. I'll do whatever, but
Hmm.
it's a half hour, 45 minutes of just, yeah, it's quote unquote screen time, but that's
Right.
quiet time for me, and
Hmm.
it's not noise. I'm looking at whatever I want. I'm not trying to absorb necessarily, but it's something it's a wind down almost type of thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, all of this just comes down to just us being, comfortable with ourselves. But, back to the initial point of this with community, I know for a fucking fact, I didn't know it at the time. I never would have, I don't, 99% sure I would not have stayed sober if I would have done an ILP thing. I know we talked about
Hmm.
that. The only reason I stayed at the Keating Center, because I didn't have to, none of us did, like you say, the gates never locked, or
Right.
doors not locked,
Hmm.
was because of the people. I started to, I actually enjoyed all you motherfuckers, and after I figured out that nobody wanted to kill me, I was cool with it.
Right.
But it is the people and that fellowship, that community that we
Hmm.
had at that time, and some of those guys are still part of our community.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason I stayed, and in turn, all of those, that whole combined thing is the reason I stayed sober. No
Mhm.
individual,
No.
but as a collective, that's what
Mhm.
that's what kept me there. And that's we hear a lot of people that in their leads say that the fellowship kept them going to meetings, and got them to the meetings, and then things start to stick, and then then everything just kind of falls into place.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of simplifying it, but that's kind of what happens.
It is. It is. But yeah, the main point is we can't do it by ourselves. We just cannot. We need other people around us. And as a loner and a self-described antisocial person, and and still am, yeah, I need other people occasionally. Yes. Not all the damn time.
I like that. I need other people occasionally, not all the
Yes.
time. Just
Right.
little bit of qualifying there, but okay. So I guess let's take a little break here and let other people talk. Well, it's us and usually another advertiser dropped in there, but either way, what do you say we take a break, Mike?
You know what, Bill? Let's take that break. We'll be right back with more of Sober Not Mature right after these words from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature,
Hi
and
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com, and we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's
Yes.
www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone, welcome back. And I like how you said that. You said sponsors because usually, and it's just funny. I mean, and again, I know you don't listen to the episodes, but
Right.
I've got things set up now where it's well, I don't set it up. AI pops the
Mhm.
ads in
Right.
automatically, but usually, and I think that it's got to recognize the fact that you say word from our sponsors. So I like when you do that.
Mhm.
You've always said it. It started as a fucking joke because I
Right.
listened back to there was an episode, whatever it was. You're like, oh, a word from our sponsor, and I'm like, wait a second, say that again, man. You got to do that from now on. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually it's either our website ad than a regular sponsor ad or vice
Mhm.
versa.
Mhm.
But it's kind of funny. But yeah, sometimes it's we say something or there's something fucking nasty going into it, and then it's like, "Hi, we're so and so." Like
Right.
the one week when we were driving out to Founders Day, it was two ads out of the episode because usually it's four, maybe that spread out, maybe three or four, whatever it is.
Uh,
Ryan Reynolds with Mint Mobile.
ah.
So yeah, you go into the break saying something fucking nasty, and all of a sudden, "Hi, this is Ryan Reynolds."
Yes. Well, he said a few nasty things in his career, so it's fine.
No, I know, and it's which is kind of perfect because the whole Mint Mobile thing for him is kind of on the nice end. But I watched part of Deadpool within the last I don't know month, and
Uh-huh.
because well I own it, I bought it, when it first came out, and it's paid for itself time and time
I'm
again.
sure.
I can't I don't get sick of it. It just fucking cracks me up every goddamn time. But all right, so to wrap it up, community, we need it, but we don't always need it, and it's okay that we don't always need it. We're
Yeah,
fine
it's a
with
it's a
ourselves.
good thing that we don't always need it. Right. In the beginning, you fucking bet your ass we fucking need it most of the time.
Right.
Yeah, but that backs off because we're getting hopefully better and we don't need that constant, but we still need it. That is the point. We do still need it. So yes, become a part of something bigger than yourself and then you can sit with yourself. It's nice.
Yeah, it is. As we were talking about that, it does. It just fucking blows my mind because yeah, I mean literally night and day difference the way it used to be. But yeah, it's good shit. All right, so we've talked plenty about self will, and this came from Keep It Simple, God knows when, but it says, I'll list all the areas that self will gets in my way. I'll
Mm.
read my list every day next week, and I'll try to put love in the place of self will. Now,
Mm.
the reason I wrote down the whole thing is it made me laugh because you and I, if we're our fucking self will, and we're like, no, we're gonna place love in there, which I mean, again, it sounded funny to me, but the main part of it was I'll list the areas that self will gets in my way. So,
Mm.
do you have specific things that you can think of where your self will gets in your way, or just anything in particular?
I mean, everything. Um, right. Again, over time, I don't have a lot of self will anymore. I certainly have will now, but not so much self, man. The will that I have is for again the bigger, greater thing. Um, whatever that this world, whatever the hell it is, man. Positive, good things. That's what I try to focus on. Yeah, self, I mean, yeah, it gets in my way every time that I try to think of myself and put myself first. And it never works out very well. So I try not to do that because I'm still selfish and I don't want things to be fucked up. So uh, for some reason, again, that AA math, I put others first and fuck, man, my life is better.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I could think of when you were just talking about that is that the times that it's been glaring for me is I think about it. I think about it when, like I was searching for the job, or when I'm trying to hit a certain goal or stuff like that, and
Mhm.
it gets down to the point where when I think that there's at least a perceived threat to my well-being, and usually it's a financial thing for me. Financial shit is what gets me.
Mhm.
If I think it's going to affect me financially, that's when I try. That's literally when my self will kind of starts pushing at it, and I need to recognize it because I'll fuck things up. Well, we know that. I mean,
Mhm.
but because
Mhm.
that's what we do,
It
But
is.
the two things that'll fuck with my head, and I figured this out. I was all my entire life, but I figured it out since I got sober. Financial shit and members of the opposite sex, relationship stuff that way.
Hmm.
Those two things, if I'm not careful, both of those things will fuck me up,
Right.
if I let them, because again, I think too much, or I get too involved, and you know how things are in a relationship, and either if you get that beautiful part of that relationship where everything clicks with the person until it doesn't, sometimes,
Right.
but that's cool, when everyone's on the same page. But a lot of times it's human nature, it's one person's up here, the other person's down here, and then maybe it flips and this and that,
Hmm.
or maybe you meet somebody on Tinder and they ghost you for a month. I mean, I don't know who that happened to, but then
I
look
don't
what
know.
look then look what happened. You did the right thing by just kind of
Mhm.
hanging back, but still kind of going, "Hey, by the way, I'm over here.
Right.
Hello, hello." But I mean
Still
that,
lurking. Yes.
yeah, but that couldn't have been easy. I know it wasn't, but
Yeah. Mhm. Yes and no, because again, man, it working the program, being trusting the process, and all that crap, all those stupid cliches, man. I incorporate them into my life today, and shit works out better. Right? Get the hell out of my own way, and don't force things. And if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and if it isn't, something else will happen. And yeah, relationships, finance, all that stuff. It all, if you apply this to whatever your fucking problem is, not just drugs and alcohol, it fucking works, man. It works. The fear of financial insecurity will fucking leave me. It has. I mean, I don't have as much money as I want. Shit, man. I just got the letter in the mail yesterday from the county that the fucking property taxes are going up. And it's funny, Chris, actually, we talked about it a bit earlier today. She's like, yeah, I got this letter, and I'm like, it's okay, and she's going to, because they kind of jacked hers up more than they should have, and there's a process to go through to dispute it and get it right. She's gonna have to go through it. Mine came, and it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, and I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to fucking pay a little more next year. Fuck.
right. Yeah, but and that's the thing, through this, the process, and that's, again, where this thing, that we're doing right now has helped, because I get to bring this shit up, and I talked about my job search through that entire process, and
Right.
revelations that I had, or troubles I had had, and I talked about my goal, and all those sort of things, and those are things that, again, to get back to the community sort of thing, and I don't, I mean, I know for a fact that I can make a phone call to you
Hmm.
and talk about anything at any point. I know that,
Right.
and that's extremely comforting to me.
Hmm.
Even if I wasn't here, like right now with Kathy, our sister,
Right.
if I got some shit going on, I can talk to her, and I know I can,
Right.
at any point about anything. So I've got people,
Right.
that I can go to, but it's not my first thing. With everything that comes up, I'm not that guy that's like my I don't spit out my entire life to everyone.
Right,
On
exactly. Well,
everything.
that's that's not good either. You know,
Right.
imposing all your nonsense on other people is not a good thing either.
Right.
I
Right.
stubbed my toe. That's again that's ego shit. And look at me, and shut the fuck up, man. Hell your shit.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, just all in all, it's anything with me. It all comes back to what we've talked about previously. It's things that scare me, and it's always fear based. Anytime
Hmm.
that my self will pops up, if I don't even have to really think about it. All I have to do is open my mind a little bit, in my eyes, and
Hmm.
shut my fucking mouth for a minute and be like, oh, you know what? This is what you're afraid of, and it'll
Hmm.
be okay. Same thing,
Hmm.
like you said, work the program, put these, allow these principles, and that's the whole point. Allowing these principles, in
Hmm.
our lives. I know what to do, but I don't always do it. At
Right.
least
Of
not right
course.
away.
Yeah,
Not right
right,
away.
right, exactly, right. So prolong the fucking agony, yay,
Right.
or do it right away, get it fucking over with, and move on.
Yeah, I know. It's so fucked up. But like you said, I mean, we're still learning, and
Oh yeah.
um, I mean, fuck, I'm a hell of a lot better than I used to be, and I don't wallow.
Hmm.
And the biggest thing is that the 10 step every night, every
Yeah.
single night.
Right.
I allow myself to, to clear my head. And I say allow myself because it is.
Hmm.
I need to give myself that time in that moment, regardless of whatever perceived fucked up shit is going on in my life or even good shit. I just got to
Right.
get rid of it and be like, okay, so I can sleep. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't sleep well. I think I just had weird fucking dreams, but
Mm-hmm.
who knows? I didn't go to bed with any anxiety, but
Right.
something was in my head to make me my
Hmm.
dreams go blah, 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 blah. And I didn't even know what the fuck they were. I just wake up and I'm like, holy fuck, am I tired? When
Right.
you wake up and you're like, oh God, yep,
Yeah.
it's gonna be one of them damn days.
Hmm.
So next one here, and I'm still working on this cleanup stuff. These are kind of falling into place. Once again, I did not plan any of this. Okay. I'm not smart enough. So this was from A Day at a Time. Do I still imagine that my satisfaction with life depends on what someone else may do?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's kind of just the. I just kind of wanted your answer on that because I knew what it was going to be. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's
No,
kind.
no, no. Right. That is not what the community is about. Uh, no, no. My satisfaction in life has nothing to do with anyone but me.
Right.
Now, I allow people into my life that help with the satisfaction. Absolutely. And if you're not helping with the satisfaction and you're not contributing to it, and I'm not contributing to yours, then we're not in each other's lives.
Right.
Period. Yeah, because I don't have time for that nonsense anymore. Yeah, no, my life is everything good and bad in my life is my fault.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and that is the thing. The only thing that we even have any, and I don't want to use control, but
Mhm.
the only thing that we can direct or even have a little bit of guidance
Mhm.
in this life is us,
Yeah.
and it's we're in this thing together, yes, but I mean we
Mhm.
also have to, we got to rely on ourselves, and yeah, other people's actions and words, and they may stink, people may hurt our
Mhm.
feelings,
Mhm.
or whatever. But yeah, as I was reading that, I was waiting for the answer. But yeah, imagine whether my satisfaction in life depends on another person. I hope the fuck not. Now again, 15, 16 years ago, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. That was every problem in my life was somebody else's problem or
Right.
fault. So.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, so let's talk about a phrase that, and I'm sure you've heard this, but a phrase that fucking irritates me. Okay,
All right.
um, I hear this a lot, and I've heard it. God, I've heard it more probably around the recovery community. I'm sure it's in the therapy community, but um,
Mhm.
lots of things to unpack, or let's unpack
Mm.
this. We've got things to unpack, but man, I hear it. I hear it in work situations, thankfully. And
Uh-huh.
I got to just take a quick side note here. The company that I work for, and they're a big company. A lot of these people have been around different organizations, our managers, all this different stuff. I mean, they're people that have been around the business world for a long time,
Right.
but they're people don't use all that fucking stupid corporate speak,
Mm.
and I'm so happy
Mhm.
because I can't handle it. I can't
Right.
handle the ping me, let's take this offline, let's do this, let's circle back, all this different shit. I fucking hate all those terms. And the same thing, if it was people use it in a business sense too. If they got a problem, ooh, there's quite a lot to unpack here, so we're going to set another meeting.
Mm.
But I I can't. I hate it. I
Right.
just I just fucking hate it. I hear it on other podcasts. I hear it all. I see it on social. I hear it fucking everywhere.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Here's the thing. I mean, maybe this is. I don't think you have the answer to that, but I could be wrong. Do people use terms like that? Do you think? Do you think they think it makes them appear intelligent?
Yes.
Really? I
Yeah.
just. Ugh,
Mhm. Yeah, right. Okay, first of all, keep your shit packed up. I don't wanna fucking see it, and neither does anybody else, okay? There's a reason that we have suitcases and
right.
backpacks, and yes, there's a reason. Keep your shit in your shit, and now, of course, a problem shared is a problem cut in half and all that good stuff. Yes, we need to, but yes, don't unpack all of your shit. If there's this thing, just look at it, do what you need to do, and again, move on. God, this fucking dwelling shit, man. Stop dwelling on everything. Nothing is that important. You know, 2 seconds from now, it's 2 seconds later, and it'll be different. You know, the only constant is change. Um, yeah, don't unpack all this shit, man. Nobody cares.
Well, and the other thing too, if why can't somebody just say we've got a lot to talk about? That's it.
Sure.
If
Right.
if I walked up to, I, I can't even imagine this. So, Mike, okay, so you and I were getting together.
Mhm.
I got some, I'm going through some stuff because I want to get
Sure.
together, and I'm like, I'm going through some stuff. Can we sit down? Maybe I'm out in
Yeah.
Cleveland or whatever, and I'm going to be at your house anyhow, so I'm going to sit
Right.
down with you.
Yeah.
And I sit down and I say, Mike, okay, first of all, I got a lot to unpack.
No, you've got a lot to pack because you got to get the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't I don't get it. But yeah, and that was my only thing is that do people think that all these fucking buzzwords like that in the corporate community, this and that somehow I don't understand that. If you sit down with your kids and say, "Hey, we need to have a talk," you don't say, "Hey,
Yeah.
we need to unpack some things." I
Right.
mean, so why do you have to say it on social media? Why do you say it, in a work meeting? I just don't. I hate the fucking words. I fucking hate them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So anyhow, but the only thing that I thought about, which kind of made me laugh, was I wonder if that term came about in the therapy community because people always said, they got a lot of baggage.
Right. Yeah,
you know,
probably.
and
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly. Mhm.
I don't know. I had that written on there from a long time ago for who's ever podcast I was
And
listening
and
to,
and
but
you want a good analogy for that, right? I mean, look at all the stuff you own, right? Everything that's packed. You're gonna move, right? You gotta pack all your shit. Okay. Yeah, what when you're packing to move, all the crap you look at and go, I don't need any of this. I don't need, I need this, and the rest of it is a bunch of garbage.
right.
So yeah, don't unpack your shit, man, because there's probably one or two things in there that need to be addressed, and the rest of it is garbage. It doesn't fucking matter. So don't unpack all of that shit, please.
Well, you know what? And that's actually a great analogy because I think if anyone's been listening for a while, they realize that I have my stuff in storage, okay?
Right.
Which literally has been there now for 2 years.
Yep.
I've had all of my stuff in storage. Literally everything that I own is
Hmm.
in a 10 by 15 storage unit in Germantown, Wisconsin right now.
Hmm.
I got some shit here, I
Right.
do,
Yeah, the
you
shit
know.
you use, the shit you need. Right. And there's this storage thing that you haven't touched in 2 years.
Right.
So clearly you don't need fucking anything in there.
Yeah, the only thing that I've stopped there, I think 2 or 3 times. I stopped there once to get, God, I think I grabbed some stuff for Kimmy and Brian. I think they were, like, yard tools or things like that I
Yeah,
grabbed for
things
them.
for other people, things you didn't need.
Yeah. Oh, the only other thing that I needed, I needed my tax documents. I had them. I knew I had them in my
Alright.
file cabinet.
Yep.
So I went there and I got I had all my shit in, like, the tax documents, and I had everything labeled, so I knew where it was.
Uh-huh. Of
But it was
course you
just to,
did.
like well, I mean, again, when you're packing stuff up like that, I'm like, if I ever
Mhm.
need some of these important things,
Right.
I need to know where this shit is.
Right.
But literally, I want the stuff that's in there right now. Well, whenever I take the time, I probably want half the shit in there. I do want to get rid of. I don't need it
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
And the only real furniture I have in there, I want to give the toolbox to either, Derek or Brian, one of the
Right.
two, whoever wants it. There's a
Mhm.
love seat in there I want to get rid of because I'm like, whenever I end up someplace, I'll get new fucking furniture if I need
Right.
to, or I won't.
Right.
And there's stuff in there. I'm like, I don't fucking need. Oh, I know what I stopped there for. Kimmy and Brian. It was foldable chairs. They
Mhm.
needed them. They went someplace. I'm like, I got two of them in there. I'll go grab them and give them to
Right.
you.
Yeah.
But and I think I don't know, whatever. There was something else I stopped there for, but I don't know what the fuck it was. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's so much shit in there. There's even stuff that I have here that I put in a closet here that I haven't
Mhm.
looked at in probably a year.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, you've been to my house, you know all the
Right.
crap I've got in here. Yeah, I don't need any of it. I like looking at most of it, and I do on a pretty much daily basis. But yeah, I got stuff that I haven't touched, and probably there's probably stuff here that I haven't touched since I moved in 5 years ago. But there's also it's those things where okay, I like stuff in the truck, right? I've got this big tool chest, or actually, it's an igloo cooler that has my tools in it, right? Now, there's stuff in there that I haven't touched in 2 years, but if I need something, vice grips, right? Most of our equipment's pretty good, and but I have a big pair of vice grips in there because you pull the handle out in the back of the trailer, the tandems, they lock, but every once in a while, one won't lock. And if you're by yourself, you need the fucking vice grips to clamp on there to keep it open so you can slide the tandems. Right. If I haven't touched them in probably a year and a half, but I get that one fucking trailer that I need it, and I got to slide the fucking tandems, and I got those in there if I need them.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've got mom's old bag of tools in my
Right.
trunk. I put them in there when we cleaned out the house, and I haven't taken them out. So I'm like, eh. And then especially now that I'm kicking around, and there's been a couple of things I needed WD-40, so I now have that in there, and I
Right.
had to buy Allen wrenches, so I
Yeah.
put those in there. And there's things in there that I've used, that
Mhm.
I've needed. So yeah,
Right.
it's
Yes, I
again.
mean stuff like that, right? You're not going to touch it for a long time, but when you need it, god damn it, you better have it or you're fucked.
Right. That is something worth unpacking, as they say.
Hmm. No, that's
But,
something worth packing.
right, right. Packing so it's there in case you need to unpack.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay. I got you. But now I don't know. That was just that. Oh, that was a tangent, by the way. That had
That
nothing to
was,
do with that had nothing to do with sobriety. So fuck all you
or
and your
did it,
yeah
or
yeah.
did
Well,
it. Having
that's
those tools in your back pocket when you need them. You may not touch them for a couple years, but you better fucking have it when you need it.
Jesus Christ. We can't help but talk about sobriety, can we? We had
Nope.
no that had nothing to do in my head with sobriety, and it turns out that it was.
Hmm.
Apparently, folks, we're practicing these principles in all of our affairs.
Apparently.
But yeah, so okay, yeah, the tangent. I was just going to say fuck you to everyone that doesn't like to go off on tangents. But that, I will say a completely fuck you because look what that did. We talked about
Yeah.
sobriety. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck you.
yeah. Fuck you, other podcasts, man. You're not cool like us. All right, so I had, and I'm trying to. I've got a couple of a few other things on like I'll call it the backlog list, but I had one thing that I wrote down this week, and I don't remember. Oh, two things. I'm sorry. First one, I was flipping through. I don't even know how I came across it, but this was just back from May. First of all, did you know Conan O'Brien had a podcast?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think I knew that, but I didn't remember what the name of it was. I can't for the life of me even remember what it is now. I think I saved it,
Doesn't it?
but
Conan Empire needs friends.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you want to be my friend or something like that?
I
Yeah.
think he needs friends. Conan
Is it what it?
O'Brien needs friends. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds right. I'm going to give you that because I don't know, but yes, that sounds good. So, they interviewed Chris Robinson. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know from the Black Crows, that dude is funny as fuck. I,
Yeah.
I've never heard an interview with him, and what I expected because I know they're kind of stoners and shit like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, but I mean, I expected like just this laid back whatever. He was a lot of fun to listen to. Talked about the new album and all that stuff because it was when Happiness Bastards had just been released.
Hmm.
But man, I was laughing my ass off. He and Conan were having just a fucking great time. But again, nothing earth shattering, nothing that I had to like, ooh, I got to talk about this. I just wanted to
Hmm.
say that I'd never heard an interview with him, but man, he was a lot of fun to listen to, and I
Yeah.
complete surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. He's an entertaining dude.
Yeah. And the last thing, and that just reminded me of, I was listening to, again, some fucking podcast at some point, and somebody had said, because aren't you the one that told me that the Black Crows, I think you said they're more notorious for always having good weed, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So somebody referred to that in a podcast. They were telling this story about whatever, and it was a celebrity podcast, I think. when I was listening to it, but they said yeah, so and so this and this, and like yeah, we found out that she had some of that Black Crow's weed. It was used as a reference to basically how fucked up this person was, and
Nice.
I'm like I remember that from when you were telling me we were talking about whatever it was, but when you met them, I think, or with the fact
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you knew them. So okay, so the last thing that I had on here, the one thing I was have no idea again where it came from, but pessimism through through sorry pessimism versus optimism. So, do you
Uh-huh.
consider yourself to be more of an optimist or a pessimist?
Yes. Optimistically pessimistic and pessimistically optimistic. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I'm clearly by working the program, I am more optimistic, but I'm a pessimist. No, that glass is fucking half empty. Um, but it's still got half the thing in it, so it's all right. Um, yes, I'm both. Absolutely both. I try to be optimistic. I try to look at the good, and you know, despite despite my eyes. Um, right, my brain, and yes, but then there's my soul. No, there isn't. There's no soul. There's electrons bopping around in my skull. Um, yes, there's good. I try to look for it, but I don't expect it. So I guess that makes me a pessimist. But I'm optimistic that maybe I'll get a little better at it tomorrow.
Well, and you know what? I agree with you 100% saying yes. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily know which way you were going to go with that, but I think that, and we said this, whatever we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, that's a perfectly acceptable answer
Mm-hmm.
because it's true. Now, the other way that in this one, I couldn't help get it out of my head when I wrote it down or copied it down. But what I was thinking about is that I think my nature, the way I'm built, I am no doubt I'm a pessimist. I know
Mm-hmm.
for a fact I am. And I was kind of relating it to the fact of, being our, the fact that sobriety, we have to work on it every day or we go back to being a shitty human being type of thing,
Right. Right.
Our natural state is being a shitty human being and being who
Yep.
we were and being an active alcoholic and addict. And I think that lines up with, for me, with this pessimism versus I have to work at being optimistic. The same
Mm-hmm.
I have to work at being grateful. I have to work at, recognizing gratitude and all those different
Mm-hmm.
things. Because there are times when I've said it before. The first time I ever said it on here, I'm like a couple years ago, like I'm in a good fucking mood and I don't know why, and
Right.
I mean, we got a good laugh out of it even now, but seriously, that's probably the best example of knowing that in my head,
Mm.
it's I I'm not a gloom and doom type of person, but
Right.
I need to work on being positive. I need to work on
Mm-hmm.
again being in a good mood. I need to work on everything is not unicorns and no
Right.
strawberries and orgasms, and I
Right.
fucking know that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that before I got sober, I was in a bad mood all the time because I had no way to deal with my emotions and all that sort
Right.
of stuff. And I
Miserable
think
human being. Right.
right. But I think now, from what you said, even halfway jokingly, because your eyes and your brain and everything like that,
Mm.
now that we're sober, I don't know, for me at least, I think I fucking know better. I know
Right.
that there's some evil fucking people, there's some shitty people, there's some fucking dumbasses out there,
Uh-huh.
and not you and I, but we as a collective, whatever
Mm-hmm.
we have to try really hard to get through some of the garbage in this world and be
Yeah.
good and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy good and try to make our corner of the world a better place.
Right.
And I think that's where, like you said, when we were joking about the whole, Cleveland and Detroit, being the unhappiest places, and you're like, maybe that's because people know what the fuck they're dealing with.
Yep.
And
Ignorance is bliss. Exactly.
yeah, and it's just seriously, it's just that I I consider myself to be relatively upbeat. I'm a positive person. The person I am on this podcast is not. It's not fake.
Right.
If I'm, I mean, granted, I suppose we're trying to entertain people a little bit.
Yeah.
It would be shitty if we got. I mean, could you imagine if we get on here? Oh, hey Mike.
Hey, Bill.
um, I'm having a rough one today, man.
Yeah, me too. Fuck.
I mean, first of all, it's just
My
I don't.
shoulder hurts. I'm tired. I'm constipated.
You know what? You know what does hurt? My left pinky for some reason. Like I pulled a muscle. Yeah, no shit. In my left pinky for some reason, I pulled a fucking muscle. I mean, that's okay. Kids out there, especially if you're in your 20s and 30s, that's what 55 looks like. I didn't do
Uh-huh.
anything. I
Right.
worked behind a desk and I
Mhm.
pulled a muscle in my pinky.
Right.
But no, I think that I'm just naturally a pessimistic person, and I need
Mhm.
to work to be optimistic. Just as
Yeah.
I'm naturally a piece of fucking shit, alcoholic, low bottom drunk, and
Yep.
I need to work every day to be sober and stay sober. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
I'm looking at that the right way.
I believe you are, because that's the way I'm fucking looking at it.
Yeah, because it's just I mean I don't want to be I don't want to be negative because it makes me feel like shit,
Mhm. Right.
Um, and I actually don't want to be negative because I don't want to make other people feel like shit either.
Right.
It's important to me these days.
Mhm.
I mean, if I'm in a mood or something like that, and I snap at somebody, I'm going to apologize and I'm going to
Mhm.
explain that hey, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm in a fucking mood for whatever reason.
Right.
Just sorry, I'm going to go to bed. you
Right.
know, or I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna go watch TV. I'm just whatever the case is. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be that way because I don't want to feel like shit. And
Right.
if I'm in a mood, I don't necessarily need to figure it out, but I need to figure out what can I do that'll actually just, if nothing else, fucking even me out. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I fucking make myself stop. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm in a mood. Well, it all comes back to those fucking snakes, man. You know, I'm in a mood. I feel like shit. I'm grumpy. I'm whatever. Trust me, I am a lot. Um, but so what? Again, so what? My fucking mood doesn't matter, and my mood's going to change. So right. The old days, I would nurture that and again use it as an excuse. And I had a bad day. I'm grumpy. I'm gonna go get loaded to make myself feel better and fuck the rest of you people. I
Right.
don't care if if my mood's affecting you. Well, good. I hope it is. Fuck you. Yeah. Right. And now and now I'm really I don't. Yes, I will be grumpy. I will be in a bad mood, but I try not to take it out on other people, which is a huge fucking difference because
Oh God, yeah.
I relished taking out my awful moods on other people. I loved that shit. It didn't really make me feel any better. It was just, whatever. It was just what I did because I was a piece of shit. And yeah, so I try not to inflict that on other people. I mean, it seeps in and I'm human and, sometimes I'm just in a really fucking bad mood and I can't help myself. But even then, I try not to, even in the midst of being a grumpy old man that I am. Um, I do try not to inflict that on other people. It happens occasionally and then I got to apologize and I hate that shit too. So again, selfish. That's why I try not to do it, so I don't have to fucking apologize.
Yeah, it's just I know what you mean because in relishing in that I know I did too. I absolutely I used to love, it just, basically tearing people down verbally. It was a wonderful experience in my head, to be able to do that because, then you feel like you're a big man and all this stuff. And all you are is, you're a fucking coward,
Right.
by doing all that shit. But I mean, especially when it's to somebody you truly love, like a spouse or a child or
Right.
whatever the case is, and then again, it just all it does is just put barriers and causes, I'm not going to use the word, but it can cause issues for years,
Mhm.
between two people, and it's unnecessary just for having a shitty attitude and being a shitty person for a minute.
Right.
So, okay, one last thing, and I almost forgot about this. This has nothing to do with sobriety. Okay,
All
so
right.
this is again the morning show that I listened to. They they teased this, and then they were reading it. They said, okay, top 25 most overplayed rock and metal songs of all time. Okay,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, first of all, they didn't read the entire list. I think they did the top 10, but I'm gonna tell you the top five. I think that there's one song on here that I know you fucking hate. I know you
Uh-huh.
hate the band. One, I've got a pretty good idea you're not a fan. The other
Mhm.
three, I'm not sure of. But
All right.
so, number five on the list. Like once again, this is the top 25 most overplayed rock songs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
number five, Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer." Get that's the one I know you hate. Yeah, that's the one
Right.
I know you hate.
Yeah, well, they're garbage.
Um,
They always have been. They always will be. Go ahead.
Leonard Skinner, "Sweet Home Alabama."
Well, definitely not their best work. Skinnerd was a great band, but yeah, overplayed, right? Freebird, all that. They've got some great fucking songs in there, but yeah, overplayed, man.
Right, and that's what I wasn't sure. I don't think you and I have ever talked about Leonard Skinner. And I mean, again, as a band, I agree with you. "Sweet Home Alabama," "Freebird," all those songs. If they come on the radar, just they overplayed. I wouldn't listen to it. But there's some of their I've listened to their other albums. I like again, the deep tracks I like from
Yep.
them. So, Metallica, "Enter Sandman,"
Yeah,
overplayed, right?
overplayed. Right. Yeah, well, the first three albums are the only good ones.
Right. Number two, Nirvana, "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Yes, overplayed.
Okay. And see that one I agree 100% that it's overplayed. I like the song. I don't get sick of Nirvana.
Mm,
So it's one of those that I've never gotten tired of. But I
yeah,
agree, it's a like they put it, the description here, yeah, we get it. Grunge came at the exact right time to
right.
save all of us, blah blah blah.
Mm,
But yeah, I get it. I understand that. So number one, have any even guess the band of the overplayed number one?
Zeppelin.
Nope, actually
Mm.
Guns N' Roses,
Ah,
Sweet
yeah.
Child of Mine.
Hmm.
Which again, both of us go like, yeah, that makes sense because it is. It's one of those ones where, I mean, Guns N' Roses are Guns N' Roses. I mean, I liked them at the time, and they to this day, I mean, they're not necessarily one of my top favorite type of bands, but I mean, yeah, that song got fucking played to fucking death.
Right.
All right, so that was it. Just to end on a lighter note because I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I was surprised that I didn't look at what the other ones were, but I'm sure Zeppelin's got to be in there.
Oh, I'm sure. Right.
Stairway.
Hmm.
I'm guessing that's one of them. So you know what? On that note, yet I think we've overplayed ourselves tonight. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Sure. Mm. God. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm tired. It's been a long fucking week. Let's finish this shit up.
I crack me up. So yeah, it's your turn.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you fucking did it. Now it's time. It's time, kids. It is that time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
Said with some force at the end. I like that. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So
Pulled it out of my ass, and now I'm done. The last little bit of energy I gave to you people, I hope you appreciate it.
yeah, to you people. Yeah, we start off the podcast by begging them to share us, and then we're like, oh, by the end saying, yeah, you people, you better appreciate us.
That's right.
All right, so that's it. All right, brother, I love you,
I love you too.
and I'm sure we'll talk soon. And
Absolutely.
bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.